So if I were to tell you that you can buy a brand new computer for 35 bucks, you're going to probably look at me like I'm crazy. And that you're probably also going to tell me is like, okay, so if I buy one for 35 bucks, it won't be that great. I'm like, that's where you're wrong. And then you're going to be like, prove it to me that it's great. And then I'm going to tell you, here it is. The Raspberry Pi 3. A $35 mini computer about the size of a credit card. And then you're going to be like, okay, but it's missing like the case, just about everything. And I'm going to go like, it's not meant for the type of computing that you're used to. So I guess that's what we're going to be talking about today, the Raspberry Pi 3 Model B. Before we go any further, make sure to hit that red subscribe button down below and also click that bell so you get notified anytime I post a video. Now back to the video. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that intro. I kind of did. But anyway, so I've known about this project since 2012, 2013. I want to say it was probably around spring of 2013. A math teacher I had back in 8th grade, something like that, told me about it, and plus I saw it online. But anyway, so Raspberry Pi, what is it? So this video, it's going to serve as the start of a few in a series of just covering what this thing can do. Because, I mean, you can go online and see all sorts of projects, like building clusters of them for, like, computer applications, or use them as a file server, or use them as a NAS, or use them for just things like making your own tablet, all sorts of types of stuff. In fact, my plan is to build my own Google Home, which is using parts that include the Raspberry Pi, an SD card, a power supply, and a kit you buy from Google. So then you're going to probably wonder, how is that all possible? Well, it's possible by using the GPIO pins, the general purpose input-output pins. So this can do stuff like send the electric commands to like stuff like, let's say, a LED bulb to make it light up and flash. Or like stuff like, oh look, I want to broadcast my own FM radio station within like 50 meters or whatever. Which, by the way, that may be illegal in some parts of the country. Some parts of the globe, so make sure you look up your local laws. So, I mean, it can do all sorts of types of stuff. And so, this is going to be kind of like an old-style type review, where we look at it more hands-on. In fact, I have two of them, because I went on arrow.com, bought one of them, and then bought the Google, build your own Google Home kit for another 15, so that equaled 50 bucks, and then I got another free Raspberry Pi on top of that. So we're going to look at them. So I guess let's move over to the hands-on workstation and take a look. So some of the things you're going to need before we get started is a Raspberry Pi 3, a keyboard and mouse. So in this case I'm using a combo set for multimedia applications. A power supply, so it can be any old micro USB phone charger. That should work. The one I picked up has a button, so I can turn it on and off without unplugging it. An HDMI cable. A micro SD card, so in this case I have a 16 gigabyte one. I think 8 gigabytes the minimum. I'll leave a like getting started guide, a few of them, link below. But you'll need that and load it up with Noobs OS, which is their like getting started operating system, and then you can go from there. So this is all just for the initial setup, and then after that you don't need the display or the keyboard. So I guess let's get started. Okay, so it's time to unbox the Raspberry Pi, so here it is. So we open this up. We got a paperwork, and we got the Pi itself. So nothing else fancy. Anyway, so the paperwork, it's just a bunch of compliance stuff, blah-de-da-da-da. Who needs that? So anyway, so we get the Pi out. Now, what I do not ever stick it on top trying to run it, because these anti-static bags can short it out if they're used wrong. So what I'll do is I'll stick it on top of a box, and then take your SD card. You're going to put it in the SD card slot in the bottom. You're going to take and plug in your USB cable for your mouse and keyboard, or USB receiver. Then you plug in power supply. Actually, no, you don't plug in your power supply. You plug in the HDMI cable. And they sell adapters and stuff too that break it out to regular composite VGA and all that good stuff. But and then it goes inside the headphone jack. But instead, we're just going to use HDMI. And the final thing is the power cable. So I'm going to point this at the monitor because I do not have a capture card. Power cable up right here. Sorry if you can't see. I think it's trying to focus in on the display, which is what I want. And then you get lights and all that good stuff when it turns on. And there we go. It is on. Now, come on. Yeah, I did the SD card right. So, it's going to do some resizing and all that. It's initializing. So, now it's asking, do we want what operating systems to install? So first we're just going to connect to my Wi-Fi. So okay, so we will connect it to my Wi-Fi. So if you do the full one, you'll get Raspbian, LIBRELECRPI2. So this is a Kodi based OS for like media center applications. The Raspbian is their Raspberry Pi version of Debian. So those would come pre-installed if you download the full one. The light one will not have it. Then we got other ones like Raspbian Lite, DIY retro emulation console, OS Pi 2, which is another media center one, WeCallBox, which is another retro gaming console, digital signage platform, IoT Core, so this lets you build and test projects and apps that you'd usually run on like Windows, and then you can also try a 60-day trial of a Debian-based thin client. So we are going to go scroll up, and we're going to install Raspbian. Now you can install multiple ones. Like this one only takes 4.5 gigabytes, and I got other ones too, like Ubuntu and Fedora, and a few other ones that you can install on here too. But we're just going to worry about Raspbian for now. So I'm going to click install. Just tell it yes, and it's going to write it. So this will take a few minutes, and I will be back when it gets done. So yeah. So one thing I'm going to point out is if you look down, oh yeah, wrong mouse. Look down here. It set it to Great Britain English. You may want to change that to the US if you're in the US, because this is a British based company, so of course it makes sense. Then also keep in mind, what's neat is you can take and pull these SD cards and image them onto other ones, and so then you only have to install it once if you're doing like multiple Pis, and then you can just take and put SD cards in other ones with it already installed. With that said though, that's the only downside about it, is that it's using an SD card instead of like flash name memory, whether it be like a hard drive, no, not hard drive, like an SSD or like soldered on storage. But in most cases that's fine, because as long as you're not doing data intensive stuff, you should be good to go. So yeah. Okay, so It looks like it has installed. Let's see, so we can tell it OK. And then I'm figuring it's going to probably reboot. Yep. Alright, now it's starting to load stuff up. There we go. We are up and running. There we go. A typical Linux environment desktop. This is Raspbian based on Debian. Let's have a look around. Okay, this is neat. So they got a Java IDE loaded up, which, if you don't know what IDE means, it means Integrated Developer Environment. That's BlueJ. Greenie Programmers Editor, so I guess that's a lightweight one. You got Greenfoot Java IDE. That's another one that I heard that's good. Surprised there's no Eclipse on there because that's the one I'm used to using for Java. Mathematica, Node-RED, Python 2 and 3. Which, for those of you that don't know, Python 3 differs a little bit from Python 2. Scratch 1 and 2, Sense Hat Emulator, Sonic Pi, which is like a music making program that you do through programming, Tonithy, Python IDE, Tonithy, and Wolfman. So I'm going to look at the Sense Hat Emulator. Let's see. And this thing ain't the fastest, because if you can tell, it's running at, this is CPU, it's running at 1% right now, and it was up at 20 earlier. So, anyway, I figured out what this does. It is so you can mess around with the Sense Hat stuff. So what it does is, it's essentially a bunch of sensors and like lights and stuff that you can emulate without having to physically buy this, because how much do they want for it? They want another $35. Okay, so that makes sense. So you can play around with the accelerometer, temperature oppressor, and humidity, and all sorts of different types of sensors and whatnot. Okay. Another thing you can look at is Minecraft Pi. So this is so apparently you can like hack Minecraft and all that. So this ain't the Minecraft for Education. It's just the regular, I think, Pi edition, which you can see there's some glitchy right there. And now we make full screen. Okay. So the graphics aren't the greatest. And my plan is I'm going to overclock one of them because I got the stuff to do it, which essentially all you need is some heat sinks to do it. Is that a thing on my screen? No. Oh, that's just a glitch. Wow. Anyway, you can even see it's kind of glitchy a little bit, but it's not perfect, but it works. But anyway, so my plan is, though, I plan on overclocking this because I got heat sinks and a fan from the one I plan on using most, and the other one's got some heat sinks, so I may do some mild overclocking on it, but it's not going to do a whole lot. Where's my mouse at? Yeah, and in this you can't even really change the settings. Can you do? I think it's F6. Either way, not the best. I mean, oh, okay, so I got my position to open. I wanted to see the frame rate. Whatever. But, and I think it just locked up. Yeah, it just locked up. So I may have to reboot this. Okay, so I'm back from rebooting it. So, as I said, this ain't perfect, because if I open, what's this Python games? So, it's not perfect. I opened up Minecraft. It's an old alpha version. Let's force HDMI. That's the only thing that's hooked up. Okay, so let's see. Oh, they got all sorts of things. Tetris-like game. What's this one? Okay, so these are Python-based games. Press A key to play. Okay, this is neat. Okay, so what's the Tetris for Idiots? What the heck? So I guess if you want a super easy Tetris game, you can have that. What the? Jumping around a little bit. But either way, so this is all done with Python, so you could even go through and invent with Python. You could probably even tweak these and all that. So either way, it works. And go back into I want to go back into Minecraft real quick. Yeah, see, that was just a glitch earlier, but yeah. So it's not perfect. It works either way. We got accessories like archival and all this stuff. You got a typical Linux terminal, so like Nano, if that's installed. So stuff like you can program right in the terminal itself. So I don't know why they have these. Actually, never mind. It makes sense why they have these developer environments. It's because they're trying to teach people how to code. My bad. Yeah, there's your regular Python shell, and just all the good stuff. So let's see. An SD card copier. So I'm guessing what this does is if you wanted to image this onto another Raspberry Pi, you could. PDF viewer, task manager. Okay, that makes sense. So this has 1 gigabyte of RAM, which ain't bad. File manager, archival calculator. I'm going to Office. So this got LibreOffice. So I guess if you wanted to write, you could. But I mean, you could write like hi. But anyway, so you got the magazine VNC viewer. So this is at like remote desktop, and claws mount and Chromium. I'll have a link down below about how to do, what do you call it? Well, on how like setup guide about like a quick start guide from like a few websites, and I'll have links down below that have like quick setup guides on what to do to set it up. But it's not that hard, and also then I'll have a list of like things to do afterwards from like other websites. Because one of the things to do, like if you look at this VNC viewer, this is so you can connect to computers and see the graphical interface remotely, which is neat because then you don't need the keyboard and mouse. And then also, honestly though, for most things though, you'll probably be doing it over SSH, which is command line stuff, which is fine. So I'll have like guides on how to set up VNC and like SSH. I don't know at the top of my hand because I don't use Debian that often. Oh, here it is. Okay, so we can turn on the camera, SSH, VNC. So I want to turn on VNC and SSH. Serial, one wire, and remote GPIO. So I want that on too. So, okay. So you got that. Performance. So this is where you can, I think, overclock it. You can give GPU. No, you can't overclock it, so I think you have to enable it. You can give more memory to the GPU and localization. So, what's it set to? It is not set right. So we want to go No, I don't want UTC. I want US. There we go. And let's go Central. So that should fix my time. Oh, it was the same. Whatever. Wi-Fi country. I don't know why you need that. I'll set it anyway. But other than that, there we go. Other than that, I'm going to pass it back to myself, and we're going to wrap the video. This is basic enough. I mean, you can go to stuff like youtube.com. So, I mean, you can pull stuff up like that. And it's a little bit slower. What's this? Oh, it's got even U-Block. Yeah, well, I'm going to turn that off. But, let's see. And if we open up a video, I have sound.
January 26th.
One.
What's up, YouTube? Paul here. So, here's a video of me going to Walmart shareholders meeting last Friday.
But anyway, ignore the sound quality. This is playing off the computer monitor, not my speakers, and it's not that great. The computer monitor speakers.
What's up, YouTube? Paul here.
But you can even tell
here's a video of me going to
it works for the
Walmart
most part.
shareholders meeting last Friday, and also going to
And
exploring around Bentonville. I got to go record an intro for that video.
and you can see though there is some hiccuping on it. So I mean it works.
Before we go any further, we should hit that.
Yeah.
I post a video.
I mean it works, but you got to keep in mind. Yeah, here's the CPU. I was setting at 56 once I exit out of it. Okay, so anyway, you got to keep in mind that it's running other stuff in the background, so it's not gonna be the perfect. And the Wi-Fi on here isn't the best either. I mean, you have to, I think it's the Model B Plus that's got the better Wi-Fi now. So you could get that or plug into Ethernet, because you got to remember this. A lot of this is still running on USB 2 instead of like a USB 3 bus. Yeah, 720p works, and I bet if you gave it more video memory, you would be fine. Yeah, definitely. It has to do with just the limitations on how much memory the GPU has. I only give it 128 gigabytes of, not gigabytes, megabytes of RAM. It only had 64, so that may be something to look into. But even then, I can see why the media center-centric operating systems are there, because they probably give more, video memory. And I can, but either way, I mean, it's playable. If that's all you're gonna do, just give it probably 256 megabytes or whatever, and then maybe plug it into the Ethernet, whether it be just hardwiring it into your network, or like get another like Wi-Fi adapter, whether it be an Ethernet to Wi-Fi or a USB one. But either way, I mean, it works for the most part. Change the password for SSH after you enable it, which I'm gonna do that anyway. So, but I just thought I'd point that out. But I'll put a few guides in there on how-tos in the bottom. I'm gonna keep retaliating it just because this ain't a orthodox review. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. It's more of like an introduction and my first impressions on it. In fact, here it is right here. It's not that big. I mean, if you look, it's smaller than my cell phone, but essentially it's got cell phone components. And then again, this is what makes it special. These pins right here. And other than that, I mean, it's going to be fun messing around with these. So remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.